Gobak. Bernie Gobak going, well, in the back garden, Selbridge, County Tipperary, Selbridge, County Kildare, Ireland. I'm going to look at the FT weekend on Saturday, the 10th of November. Making an audioboo over at audioboo.fm/topgold if you're listening there. Looking at stuff from the papers from an American's point of view in Ireland. Barack Obama's making the front page a lot of different places, demanding a tax rise for the rich in any fiscal cliff deal. And as you might expect from the Financial Times and many other economists around Europe, the concept of making the rich pay more for the services of everybody runs as a common theme. This interests me. It's an allegation of an affair by David Petraeus, the most decorated and respected U.S. soldier of his generation, resigned as the director of the Central Intelligence Agency because of an extramarital affair. From the inside looking at that, I'll tell you, every 3 months, people in his position would have been given security clearances, and anyone like himself, a married man, 37 years, who fails to declare relationships outside of marriage, get yourself in trouble. A guy that high would hold a cosmic clearance and can't be subject to any kind of blackmail. That's what extramarital affairs are, blackmail. Developers are boning up on the burial grounds of old London, says Chris Cook, an education correspondent. We're finding at a lot of places where academic institutions try to build all kinds of graves. The high-achieving Globe Academy is a report that Chris Cook picks out, and he refers to a report published by archaeologists about the burial ground, 50 meters by 80 meters, 33,000 bodies, all kinds of safety issues when you excavate that kind of stuff, and really interesting stories about why 6, 8, 7, 10 people might have been buried in the same slit. Interesting things, too, about how they died. Lots of fractures of skulls and broken hands indicating fistfights might have killed people back then. Inside the Financial Times, interesting stuff about big boats. Actually, it's a really good story about plutocrats. If you're listening, Christian Payne, I thought about you as I scanned through Chrystia Freeland's Plutocrats, The Rise of the New Global Super-Rich. Stories about people such as Russian billionaire Andrei Melenchenko and his super yacht A. Interesting premise of plutocrats. Basically, a lot of people believe that plutocrats are not aristocrats who inherited their wealth, but entrepreneurs of some sort. Nothing wrong with entrepreneurs, right? Well, maybe not. Maybe there are problems. Ever since Adam Smith pointed out in Wealth of Nations that capitalists are forever inclined to come up with conspiracies against the public, we've known that one rather profitable form of enterprise is the creation of monopolies. And good arguments made in the book itself. The book closes with a big danger, and referring back to history. The elite in Venice in 1315 decided to close the gates of Venice to all newcomers. Of course, Venice went downhill that way. And you'd also have to argue things like Microsoft's bashing of Netscape and the naughties, and Apple's dominance of the smartphone world may not be good for innovation or consumers all around. Californians are sending a message to other states: vote to make the rich pay more. Matthew Garahan has a story about the perception middle class has that the share of middle class wealth, or share of middle class income, or share of middle class potential has actually started to stagnate, and a perception that people at the top have dodged the bullet. So you're getting a lot of these people, including the folks that elected Obama, to say, and like Governor Jerry Brown is saying, you got to have the upper class pay more. Brown's perspective is pretty straightforward. You have to realize that the services you get have to be paid for. It's not a question of the progressive agenda. There's an illusion that you can have a house, a car, a government that's a superpower. You do it on the cheap. Hey, you end up having to pay for it. Real simple message. Would cut through a lot of the rhetoric in Congress. 4 more years is a full-page story in the U.S. election, the analysis and comments section of the Financial Times. The speed read section could actually be just Jerry Brown's outtake. It's a conflict. Democratic demands, Republican demands, higher taxes for the wealthy is what Obama wants. Central question in the election, Obama would offer that he's got the mandate for that. I've got this minimalist clock in my mind. It's called the numbers clock. If you're watching on youtube.com/topgold, you'll see it's from animacausa.com, We may just cut that out and make it ourselves. 11, 3, 7. Isn't it cute? We'd make ours in pink for Mia, the artist. Call to action. What gaming can teach world leaders? Peter Aspin has. The latest touchy-feely releases converge with robotic reality and really good insight of Microsoft's Halo 4. I mean, exploded on the market. 3 million people bought it in a day. Really interesting, multi-layered, ambitious personalities reflecting the richness of the real world, even as the game invents new ones. I like Halo 4. Tech workers are eyeing life in microflats, dwellings with the Silicon Valley touch. You might know this if you're listening to this and you're involved in the tech industry. April Dembowski has a look in San Francisco at an ordinance that's there called the Twitter Flat. The influx of engineers and designers coming to work has strained rents to record highs. So we're looking at developers proposing 220 square foot micro apartments. New York already has such a thing. The New York area has approved projects for 60 flats of 275 square feet. Hey, small flat, box closet, earn money, enjoy San Francisco. A dilemma for Irish former banking executives. Jamie Smith says, well, he doesn't say that these poor executives are going to have to move into a small Twitter flat. He does point out, though, that the financial crisis has put Anglo-Irish Bank, the center of Ireland's financial crisis, with 6 of its directors being paid more than €500,000, which is the government pay cap, and life goes on. At the top, pay, of course, also equals pensions. I like Out of the Shadows, a photography arts area, arts profile in the Financial Times. Frances Hodgson writes about it. Color. I mean, typically it looks at Henri Cartier-Bresson's work, black and white. Color. What do they mean? Think about stuff that I'm shooting for Instagram, Flickr. Color tells a story. Color can be used as the main emotional guide or merely as a thickener like rice or potatoes in a soup. Make it your emotional guide. See the color in the back garden if you're watching on YouTube of the plants that are still here, even as winter approaches. The Finest Hour is a story in the Financial Times I'll leave with. Watches and jewelry are actually the focus. Simon de Burton wonders if it's worth buying a watch that offers a perceived element of history or if it's just a gimmick. I don't know. I'd like instead of a highly polished, meticulous finished offering of a brand, the Titanic DNA's unique selling point of rust, a case made from trace elements of a fragment of metal salvaged from the wreck. I'd like famous legends like Liberty DNA, some of the copper of the Statue of Liberty incorporated. I'd like parts of an earthquake or a volcanic eruption. I'd like my own old jet, T-38 or the C-141, as something that I could wear on my wrist. Okay, I'll be down on my knees and weeding some stuff in the back garden at Selfridge. You can see the photos at flickr.com/Irish Eyes of this back garden at Selfridge, as well as our work that we're doing as we approach winter in Cashel, County Tipperary, Ireland. I'm Bernie. I'm Top Gold on most social networks. Thanks a million for listening. Bye for now.